In the 1850s, Liverpool was one of the most important cities in the world, a port so powerful that nearly half of all global trade passed through its docks. Ships arrived daily from every corner of the British Empire, loaded with cotton, tobacco, sugar, and goods from the Americas. And ships departed just as often, carrying thousands of emigrants hoping for a new life across the Atlantic. By 1851, Liverpool's population had reached 376,000, making it the second largest city in England after London. But this was a city of brutal contrasts. Grand neoclassical buildings rose alongside some of the worst slums in Europe. Fortunes were made on the waterfront, while families starved in nearby cellars. Wealth and misery existed side by side, often on the same street. In this video, I use AI tools to bring old engravings and paintings to life, so we can walk through the streets of Victorian Liverpool together. The heart of Liverpool's power was its docks. By the 1850s, the waterfront stretched for 7 miles along the River Mersey, a forest of masts and smoke and constant activity. The Albert Dock, completed in 1846, was revolutionary. It was the first enclosed dock system in the world, designed to protect valuable cargo from theft. The massive brick warehouses surrounded the water on all sides, with iron columns and fireproof construction. Goods could be unloaded directly from ships into the warehouses using hydraulic cranes. It was efficient, secure, and unlike anything else in existence. Every day, thousands of dock workers crowded the quays. They hauled cotton bales from American ships, rolled barrels of rum from the Caribbean, and stacked crates of tea from India and China. The work was hard and dangerous. Men competed each morning for a day's wages, never sure if they would be picked. Those who were lucky worked until their bodies gave out. Those who weren't went home with nothing. Cotton was king in Liverpool. By 1850, over 1.5 million bales arrived each year from the American South, feeding the hungry mills of Lancashire. This cotton was picked by enslaved people, and Liverpool's merchants knew it. The city's wealth was built on this trade, a fact that would become uncomfortable only later. In 1847, something changed Liverpool forever. The Great Irish Famine drove hundreds of thousands of desperate people across the Irish Sea. In just 11 months, nearly 300,000 Irish men, women, and children landed on Liverpool's quays. Many had planned to continue to America, but they arrived too sick, too poor, or too exhausted to go any further. They came off the boats starving, dressed in rags, carrying everything they owned in small bundles. A local newspaper described them as half-naked wretches wandering about, not knowing how to obtain food or shelter from the cold. Many collapsed on the docks. Some died within days of arriving. By 1851, 1/4 of Liverpool's population was Irish-born. The city became known as Ireland's second capital. But there was no welcome for these refugees. They crowded into cellars and crumbling courtyards in areas like Vauxhall and Everton, sometimes 15 or 20 people to a single room. Landlords charged rent for spaces that were barely fit for animals. Disease spread quickly. Typhus, cholera, and dysentery swept through the overcrowded streets. In 1849, cholera alone killed over 5,000 people in Liverpool. The authorities built floating hospitals on the Mersey, but they were overwhelmed. Life expectancy in the poorest areas dropped to just 19 years. And yet, the Irish survived. They worked the docks, built the railways, and scrubbed the floors of wealthy homes. Catholic churches rose in their neighborhoods, offering some comfort and community. Over time, they became part of Liverpool itself. Today, it is estimated that 3/4 of Liverpudlians have Irish ancestry. For millions of people, Liverpool was not a destination. It was a doorway, the last glimpse of the old world before the long voyage to America. By the 1850s, up to 15 ships a day departed Liverpool for New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and other American ports. The Waterloo dock was packed with emigrants, clutching their tickets and their few possessions, waiting to board. Families said goodbye, sometimes forever. Children clung to their mothers. Men stared silently at the ships that would carry them away from everything they knew. The shipping companies made fortunes from this human cargo. Cunard, White Star, Inman. These names became synonymous with transatlantic travel. Steerage passengers paid around £3 to £4 for a crossing that took 2 to 3 weeks. Conditions below deck were grim. Hundreds of people shared a dark, cramped space with little ventilation. Seasickness, disease, and sometimes death were common companions on the voyage. Before boarding, emigrants had to pass a medical inspection and buy provisions for the journey. They waited in Liverpool for days or weeks, staying in cheap lodging houses near the docks. Many were cheated by criminals who preyed on their desperation, selling fake tickets or worthless currency. And yet, they kept coming. The promise of America was stronger than the fear. Between 1845 and 1855, over 1.5 million people sailed from Liverpool to North America. They carried with them the hope of a better life, leaving behind poverty, famine, and oppression. Liverpool was the last chapter of their old lives and the first page of something new. While the poor struggled in the slums, Liverpool's wealthy were building monuments to their own success. St. George's Hall, completed in 1854, was the grandest of them all. A massive neoclassical building designed by the young architect Harvey Lonsdale Elms, who won the competition at just 25 years old. He never saw it finished. He died of tuberculosis before the interior was complete. The building was designed to house both a concert hall and law courts, a symbol of Liverpool's ambition to be seen as a city of culture and justice. The exterior is lined with giant Corinthian columns, inspired by ancient Rome. Inside, the Great Hall features a floor made of 30,000 Minton tiles, so precious that it was covered with wooden boards and only revealed on special occasions. St. George's Hall stood directly opposite Lime Street Station, the gateway for travelers arriving by rail. The Liverpool and Manchester Railway, opened in 1830, was the world's first passenger railway. By the 1850s, Lime Street had become a grand terminus, welcoming visitors who stepped off the train and immediately faced the magnificent hall across the plaza. This was the Liverpool that the wealthy wanted the world to see. A city of progress, industry, and refinement. But just a short walk away, in the cellars of the Vauxhall slums, another Liverpool existed entirely. Liverpool in the 1850s was a city of extremes, a place where immense wealth and desperate poverty existed within sight of each other, where ships brought cotton picked by slaves and carried emigrants fleeing famine, where grand halls rose from the same earth as disease-ridden cellars. It was the second port of the British Empire, the gateway to America, and a refuge for the desperate, a city that shaped the modern world in ways we are still coming to terms with today. The docks are quieter now. The Albert Dock is a museum and tourist attraction. St. George's Hall still stands, as impressive as ever, and the descendants of those Irish immigrants, those dock workers, those emigrants who never left, they are Liverpool. If you have suggestions for other cities you would like to see brought to life, let me know in the comments.